doing.
The
Yes,
Maria
Maria
Callas
Callas.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And yeah, and I remember.
Did you
seeing her.
meet and talk with her?
No, I don't know. We just I was at the end, bottom of the escalator. Are these going to bother?
No.
I'll try to keep them quiet.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
You're rolling.
Okay.
All right. You got your white balance, did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Chita Rivera, it is wonderful to welcome you back to Dallas.
Well, thanks. It's lovely to be back here again.
Your last time was Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Which seems like yesterday. Why do we, when we get older, think things were 20 minutes ago? But it was longer than that. It had to have been about 6 years.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, I think 5 years ago.
Well, see, we're in the same category. But anyway, you're back here to do Casper the Musical.
Right.
And I'm so eager to see this because I only know the movie. It's all I know about Casper.
I never even saw the movie. I just remember the cartoon.
This opened in London in 1999.
Yes, I was
Did you
aware.
see it there?
No. I'm aware of the theater it played because Spider-Woman was at the Shaftesbury Theater. And so I heard it with puppets and things like that. So it was brought to me, and I went, oh, a family musical. That's nice, and I've got some time here because I'm doing something starting in a couple of weeks. And I had this time, and I read it, and I went, well, let's just see. Well, I really wish them luck because, it is really a work in progress. Nowadays people don't, it's not the same as it used to be. You used to go to Philadelphia for 2 weeks, New Haven for 2 weeks, Boston for 2 weeks, and then you had your 6 weeks of trying your shows out, fixing it, doing what you had to do, and then you go back to New York. Nowadays it's totally different. So I joined the group, and the little boy, Paul Teasler, is just adorable. He's perfect as Casper. It's a wonderful cast. And we're having a lot of fun. It ends here, for now, in Dallas.
Is there any chance it'll go on to Broadway?
I certainly hope so. I have no idea. People don't do shows and say, oh, I don't want to go to Broadway. They do them and hope that it works out that way. So I'm sure they do hope that.
How would you explain your role?
Well, it's sort of not quite as extreme as Cruella de Vil. I mean, I'm the villain, naturally. And I actually have so much fun with those kids that, I truly don't mind being the ogre, because whenever we do it off and on stage. But she's the one that the whole story is there's a deed, and she's trying to find this deed to the house because it's the greatest treasure of all. And we find out at the end that the greatest treasure of all is the love of a family. And so the message is there, the heart is there. And in the meantime, I'm just this evil woman running around trying to, create havoc.
Singing and dancing up a storm.
Singing and dancing, yes. Now, I'm not so sure about up a storm, but there are so many things that would, that will be reinvented, and when because they all came, I think, the creative team came to, where did we just come from? Lord have mercy, not Kansas City, Atlanta. We just came from Atlanta. And so they all came down to look at it again, and they have new material they want to put in, and fixing this and fixing the other. But the audiences love it. The audience are having and they bring their kids, and it's sweet to hear kids in the audience laughing, and some of the effects make them jump, and you hear them scream, and I love kids, so it's nice. It's a very nice family show.
As I understand it, in Dallas, you have 50 kids?
Here in Dallas, in Kansas City, in Pittsburgh, everywhere. We pick up 50 kids from the town. And that's a nice idea, because that introduces the theater to young people. They're very well behaved. it's so sweet backstage when they see me looking like Vampira, because they don't know who Vampira is. And we have our chats, and it's always, Chita, Chita, Chita. And I stop and I talk to them, and they're just adorable. They're from this big, from like what looks like about 5 years old up to maybe 15 or something like that. But those little ones are really precious, and they love it, and they do it very well. They're only in one big number, but they're terribly good, and they look forward to it. And we look forward to meeting, because of course they all fall in love with Casper and the other little boy Gerard in the show. They just fall in love with them.
Okay, just a second. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your fabulous career. 2 Tony Awards,
Right,
Kiss of the Spider Woman and The Rink.
right.
Now, I have never seen The Rink.
Mm-hmm.
Did it ever tour?
No. We opened in New York. Yeah, we didn't go out of town. And it was an extraordinary experience. It really was a beautiful story. It was about misunderstandings and the differences between parents and their kids. And it was in the 60s. And my daughter, who was played by Liza, and I ran a roller skating rink. And I'd really had it. My husband had left. He was an alcoholic. And she was, this independent Italian woman that decided, I'm going to, go it on my own. But first I'm going to sell this awful place because the neighborhood is a mess. And people are getting robbed, and people are getting hit over the head, and I'm going to go back to Italy. And just as she's about at the door, and she'd already sold the rink, in walks her daughter, who had left home to go off with some hippies and things like that. And she expects the mother to stay. She expects to come back home and stay. Well, it's about them mending their problems and getting back together again. It's about forgiveness. It was about forgiveness. And at the time, I had a beautiful picture of the Pope and the fella that tried to kill him. I can't remember his name, remember? And the most beautiful picture of the Pope in all white with this fellow kneeling in front of him, and the Pope with his hand on his head forgiving him. And I used to get the most wonderful letters from parents. So many people told me that they would see mothers and daughters in the theater and embracing each other at the end of the show. It really was wonderful. It's very sad that people cannot accept just the gifts of some people, Liza in particular. Liza was brilliant in that show. But they wanted to see Liza in rhinestones and glitter, and they didn't want to see her as just a normal person with normal problems. And I think that had a lot to do with it. Fabulously written by Terrence McNally. The score was wonderful by Kander and Ebb. I mean, the set was brilliant. It's amazing indoor roller rink, that was fun. Jason Alexander came from that show. And it was a great group of guys. It just wasn't meant to be, obviously, that's the way I think, but I think they were wrong. It's a show that you had to sit and listen to. You had to care about. And I think it might have been at the time where they were looking for easy pleasure, numbers that come and go, that are flashy, And this would have been a fabulous play, period. Stockard Channing came in after Liza and was also wonderful in it. So it was a great experience, and it was very sad when it didn't. It got me a Tony, which was nice, but one is not interested in the awards. They're interested in the longevity of a play and what it has to say. So, and my mother had just passed away, and that was quite a full year. Mother wasn't there to see me get my first Tony. But as I stood up when they called my name, my mother went straight through me. I could feel her right there. So the rink has a lot of memories for me. Then, you know, it's my family too. Kander and Ebb and Terrence McNally. It's my family.
You, of course, are in the Theater Hall of Fame. Do you consider that the biggest honor that you've had?
Certainly one of the biggest, yes. It kind of made me laugh. My daughter, Lisa, gave me the award. That was a great moment. And we kind of chuckled because I think in my acceptance speech I mentioned something about you never really know what you've done in this world. You know, you only hope and pray to God you've left something that means something in this world. And unless they tear down this building, I will at least know that my name is on a wall in the Hall of Fame for the theater. But if they tear this building down, I'm right back down to scratch again, you know. So, yes, it was absolutely a great moment.
What is your best memory of being in the movie Sweet Charity?
Oh, gosh, I've never been asked that, and now I'm fascinated with what I'm going to say myself. Well, it was a great moment having Fosse. We did something better than this, which is a very exciting number on stage and on film. And there was a moment where we had to run up the rooftop, and we hit the top, spun around. Of course, we had to all be together. And Bobbie said, "All right, you and Paula, come here." We went over, and Bobbie says, "Now you do know that no matter what, the best take here is going to be Shirley's." And we said, "Well, yes." She's the one with the name that's above the title. But he put it in our heads, and so we would have done the same for every take. But boy, did we really put our energy in that. And he changed something for us, and I hit this position, which was a difficult position, but the three of us did, but my position in the trio was complicated, and I wasn't happy with it. And he said, "Okay, that's a take." And I went, "No," and I stomped my foot, and Shirley said, "What's wrong, Chita?" And I said, "Well, wasn't right. It just wasn't right." And she said, "Gosh, well, let's go tell Bobbie." And I've known Shirley for years and years and years and years. And sure enough, Bobbie said, "Oh, okay, Chita, we'll do it again." So we did it again, and I was happy with it. But there were many terrific moments in that. I think coming from the chorus, working with really fabulous people, when you know you're doing it absolutely on the nose, on the button, all of you together, that's an exciting time. And that particular one was we were right on the ball, the three of us, Paula, Shirley, and myself.
Great stories.
It's great. There are many, many, many wonderful stories. And to see Bobbie cry, we were at the bar, and she introduced Oscar to us, John McMartin, the fellow that she was going to marry, who later, drops her. And we're saying goodbye to her. And Bobbie is as close as you are to me, actually. And the camera is like, he's out of sight of the camera, but the camera's right on us. So you see our faces. And we do the scene. And when it was over, Bobbie was crying. So we went, "Hey, we touched this guy." Wow, this is good.
Chita, as always, it's wonderful to see you.
Well, you just look beautiful.
Well, thank you so much.
Not a day's gone by.
Oh, it just takes longer.
Well, that's good. We like that. We like that. We'll take that.
But anyway, I am such a devoted fan of your
Thank
work
you. That's kind.
and your career. And it's just a thrill when I can sit here and share a few moments with you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, he's going to get the camera around
Sure.
and do a couple.
Sure.
Ask the question, you just start to answer.
Sure.
I'll wave
Sure.
you off. Okay, all right.
You're rolling now.
All right. What is your role in Casper the Musical?
Well, my role is that of a. It's not so pretty.
Okay, we're ready? All right. What is your role in Casper the Musical?
I'll tell you one thing, it's not. It's not a nun. It's sort of like Elvira. It's sort of like the villain of the play.
That's good, okay. All of these, let me preface it, okay. This is your fourth stop on the tour.
Right.
And in each city, you've had 50 children, is that right?
That's right.
Local children?
50 local children, which is very smart because actually, you've got 50 children who have 50 friends who have 50 parents. You know, that's not it.
You are in the Theater Hall of Fame.
Right.
Would you say that that is the, let me rephrase. You're in the Theater Hall of Fame.
Right.
Does that mean more to you than any other award?
One of them. I can't say more. It's difficult to say more.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think how I phrased that originally. Okay. You are in the Theater Hall of Fame.
Right.
What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means you're respected by your peers, and it means that one day you'll possibly be up on that wall forever.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. I never saw The Rink.
Right.
What kind of a show was that?
It was a show about forgiveness. It was a show about a mother and a daughter. It was a show about independence.
What is your best memory of being in the movie Sweet Charity?
The paycheck. Bob Fosse and his crying behind in the scene when we say goodbye to each other.
Okay. I think that'll do it.
Good.